Hello. Hi, Twitch. How are you? It's Handy Partner. Hello. It's Mo. Do you know Mo? He's over there. Sorry.
They know me. They know me.
They know
They're tired of me.
They're tired.
They're
You were
tired
just
of me.
on Monday, weren't you?
They're tired of me, man.
Well, I'm AM. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a partner solutions architect here at AWS, joined with my best friend. Can I say that? I just did.
That's fair.
Are you gonna
That's fair.
tell me that we can't be best friends live on air in front of
Oh.
7 whole people? You better
Of course
not.
we could be best friends.
Okay,
Of course.
cool. Well, Mo is also a partner solutions architect here at AWS. And we're here today to talk to you. Well, Richard, we've always been best friends. We always will be best friends no matter what.
We can have, yeah. Rich and I go way back.
I don't know that you've ever met Richard Boyd, actually.
I haven't, actually.
Oh, we need to remedy that. If you're watching for the first time and you've sat through like a full minute of just nonsense so far, you are watching AWS's Howdy Partner. And usually we're a show that brings on partners from the APN or the Amazon Partner Network to talk all about their products. Today we're trying something a little different, maybe a little on the fly too.
Wait.
Okay.
One thing I have to correct. Small correction. Is it Amazon Partner Network or is it AWS Partner Network?
I don't know, actually. Oh.
Huh. Okay.
Are you Googling?
Yeah, let me double check this. It's AWS. It's AWS Partner Network. That makes a lot more sense.
So anytime that we say AWS APN, that's like ATM machine. You know what I mean? Like automated teller machine. It'd be AWS APN.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. It is AWS. All right. Huh. Things are clicking for me. And I've worked in this organization for over a year now.
2-3 years?
I've been at AWS for like 2.5 years, but I've only been in the partners org for year and some change. Anyway, we're trying something different today, right, Mo? What are we going to try today? You want to tell people what we're going to try today?
We're building something. You're going to teach me all about layers. Full disclosure, I know very, very little about Lambda Layers. I like to say that I'm an aspiring serverless expert, not a serverless expert. So yeah,
Wait.
you're gonna teach me about.
You told me that you were the serverless expert, though. Wait, am I supposed to be the serverless expert? Is that?
I think you're the expert.
We might be in trouble. Richard.
Richard is talking
Richard,
about. I'm not sure we're talking about.
I'll send you the chime ID, Richard. Just kidding.
I think he should join.
Maybe.
Is it too late for him to join?
I think it's probably too late.
We'll figure it
next
out.
time. We'll get Richard next time.
Gotcha.
Anyway, yeah. I've actually had a spark of inspiration, Mo. I was telling you this before, just to prep you a little bit. I didn't want to prep you too much, but I think I want to start my own partner company, actually. And
you sure you want to do this on AWS's channel?
I don't know. Well, I'm going to be such a good partner that I think they'll want me to. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
But I could think of no one better than you to help me with this. So this is also going to, in addition to me teaching you all about layers, it's also going to be a pitch meeting for me to pitch you as my co-founder on my partner company.
You know I love playing. Where's my VC hat? You know I like to put on my VC hat.
Yeah, of course. So do you want to know the name?
Series A metrics? Yes, please.
You want to know the name? Okay, get ready. The greatest name of all time. Should I give you the name or the initials first?
The initials.
It's EWS. for anybody in chat, I'll put it in chat, EWS. EWS, all right? So here's my pitch before I explain the full title.
Okay.
We at AWS, we handle a lot of technology needs, right? We've got a lot of industries covered. We've got a lot of different types of workloads covered. You want to run containers, you can do it. You want to run serverless, you can do it. What's the one thing that we don't cover, Mo? I'll answer for you. It's esoteric services. So things like tarot, things like palm reading, things like numerology. None of those things exist in AWS. How do I get tarot on demand? How do I get tarot as a service? Huh? You can't.
Okay. I'm kind of following.
Esoteric web services. That is my partner company that I want to launch with you as my co-founder. EWS.
And so are we pronouncing it EWS or are we pronouncing it EWS?
EWS. Maybe I didn't think through the name, actually.
Yep.
This is
Knocked
why
$1 million off your seed.
That's why you are.
Knocked $1 million off your seed. Yep. It's a working name. It's a working name.
Simple DB esoteric. Is simple DB esoteric? That's the question from Richard Boyd. I don't know. Yeah, probably.
As esoteric as EC2 Classic.
I mean, just think about it, man. We'll have like Ouija board as a service. It'll be awesome, right? I actually started building some of these, by the way. I started building a tarot card service. I just started building out a Magic 8 Ball. I think Richard might be trying to get in on this co-founding too. I started building, but first, before we talk about what I started building, I guess I will go to my screen share too, so people can start looking at wonderful code. I'm really well known for like writing pretty incredible code. It's kind of part of my branding is they're waiting probably in chat just to see like all the great code that I've written.
What is this, by the way? Is this .NET?
No, this is Node.js. This is Node.js.
I'm kidding. Isn't this out of your wheelhouse?
No, I'm a Node.js dev.
Okay.
I'm not 100% C# over here. Come on.
Okay.
I like how your first question is, what is this .NET? Even the tone that you took with me there was really.
It's hard to say .NET in a positive way, you know?
Yeah.
It's just the way, yeah. The naming itself has a weird cadence and tone to it. .NET. It just sounds like not a fun time. Anyway.
Here's my first service that I want to launch as a partner company, okay? And it's only for use within AWS Lambda. I'm only targeting Lambda. I don't even care about anybody else. Just doing Lambda, okay? I want to put there's a class of esoteric services around numerology. Are you familiar with numerology, Mo?
Not. How different is numerology from like astrology?
Way different. My wife is actually kind of an astrology wizard or like she's really good at it actually. She can guess your sign without knowing your birthday just by talking to you for a little bit. I mean, she already knows yours. She guessed Dave's correctly too. Our manager, Dave's.
Sagittarius.
Yeah, she guessed that without. She's only met Dave once, and she didn't know his birthday. Anyway,
wow.
They're different. Numerology is taking like usually a name or something and converting it to numbers, like the letters to numbers in some sort of organized system, and like giving meaning to that number, right? And so there are all types of different systems of numerology, but the one that I'm working with today is the Pythagorean numerology. I saw that Richard Boyd is actually already attacking the new company, calling it bunk science, which yeah, it 100% is, but it's going to make me a lot of money, Richard. So how about that? What are your thoughts on that, Miss Cleo? I'm having to switch in between chat. You're not surfacing these great Richard Boyd comments to me, man.
Oh, man, I'm not sure who Miss Cleo is, so that just kind of overbit my head. So
she was a psychic who was like on TV infomercials in the 90s a lot. She had a Jamaican accent, but I'm not sure if it was real or not. It might be fake. I don't know. Yeah.
I hope it was real.
I do too.
Is Miss Cleo the Rachel Dolezal of the 90s? Okay, let's go back to this.
So I implemented the Pythagorean numerology system. And I want to take every log statement in your lambdas and run it through my Pythagorean numerology device and get you a Pythagorean number for your messages, okay? And I want to just print it alongside. That's our first service, right? And I know I'm being really silly right now, I guess, with these esoteric web services. I really believe in them, but I want to say that this actually does have foundation in like how our partners can and do build access to their services through Lambda Layers, right? And we could give some real life examples here too. I thought it would be fun to do this one. But before I start walking us through the code and how to build one of these layers, Mo, you got to tell me, what is a Lambda layer? What is this thing?
I thought you were supposed to teach me. So from what I've heard, you have like a zip file, custom libraries. That's what a Lambda layer is, basically. In summation. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think that's a good summation.
Expand on it. Expand. I know there's the runtime API. I'm not sure how that's related to Lambda layers. Teach me more.
Yeah. Richard Boyd with the
lambdas are super old, and they form geologic layers in your AWS. Yes.
Yeah. I think layers. I don't know, the different people that I talk to, I'm corrected often when I talk to people about layers, that I'm not using them correctly, or I am doing bad practices, or that layers are controversial things. I think really what layers are most beneficial with are packaging up pieces of reusable libraries, code, whatever you need across multiple functions, right? Without having to track that individually in each function. Now, like, and before I hear like everybody who is watching erupt into, wait a minute, that's not necessarily quite true. God.
Oh man.
Richard Boyd is just killing me today. I'm loving it. Richard, I missed you.
Yeah.
I missed you in my life. I just have to let you know. You do have to change configuration values when you're using a layer. So let's say I'm publishing a layer for you to use, Mo, in multiple different functions. Across those functions, all you do is specify which layer version. But let's say I put out a new version, right? You're going to have to go and update those versions in each individual function that's using that layer, right? You're not going to have to repackage your Lambda function code and redeploy it or anything, but you will have to change the version to start utilizing the new version.
So
does that make sense?
So can you can you put this in the context of like the Lambda execution model, like the life cycle of a Lambda? Can you put it in context? Like, does this impact pre-handler init stuff? Does this impact the execution environment? Does it mess with both? Like where do if I'm trying to visualize a layer, I guess, where is it? And yeah.
It gets added to a special folder called the OPT folder, opt. And it gets added in different ways depending on what language it is. And these are layers, not the runtime that you mentioned earlier. Some Lambda layer functionality facilitates runtime layers too. I would say the majority of people in the partner network and the majority of people probably using Lambda layers are not going to often run into runtime layers. They won't need to work with those very often, unless you're trying to use a runtime that isn't supported by AWS Lambda naturally, or through the normal routes if you want to bring your own runtime type thing. But even then, there are a list of people who have created already, like our friend Chase at Zachary built the PHP runtime, for example. So you're probably not going to be building your own runtime layer, although you feasibly can. But with a regular, just normal Lambda layer, what happens is it takes whatever you package into that layer and puts it into the OPT folder on the runtime execution environment in your Lambda function that you've pulled that layer into. So essentially, like whatever you want to package up in there, that is then accessible to your code. I've actually seen. Go ahead.
Richard Boyd, COBOL runtime.
There is a COBOL runtime. Actually, a company made one. I think they actually charge you to use it too. But yes, there is a COBOL runtime for sure. There's no Bain Capital Hostile Takeover runtime yet, but I think Richard could make that happen. It doesn't use Python, Richard. I need you on the board of directors here at Esoteric Web Services to start writing the Python port of all the Node.js code that I've been writing. Anyway, so at its heart, right, what happens is it's a zip file or folder, a zip folder, or zipped up folder rather, that's formatted differently depending on your language. We'll look at that too as when I jump over to show like how to start building these layers. So like Node.js has a certain folder format that you have to adhere to when you're building one of these. All that great code, exactly. That was a massive dose of sarcasm, by the way. I don't think anybody ever thinks like, hey, that dude AM, he really writes great code. I don't think anybody has ever said that. So
okay. I don't think that's true at all, but
anyway.
He's only humble for the camera, y'all. He's only humble for the camera. Behind the scenes, he's so vain.
I'm just a nightmare to work with, right? Yeah, absolutely.
The worst. The Vans hat. You should see how we store the Vans hat when he's not online. Stored in in a humidor, temperature controlled. Oh man, y'all don't know.
Do you remember those cages that you could buy like to put your hat and then wash it in the washer? It was like a plastic type cage that you would put the hat
you put it in the dishwasher. In the dishwasher, not in the washer.
Oh really?
Yeah, man. My snapback game was on point in middle school.
I've never owned one because I just let my hat get dirty. That's what kind of disgusting, awful human being that I am. I've never washed.
Again, this is what you tell the camera. In reality, we have 100 versions of your hat here stored in temperature controlled.
Yeah.
Like rooms, man.
Very true. Very true. That's very true. Okay. So layers, right? What are they good for? I think we've got some use cases here. The use case that we're going to talk about today is I need to package up a product that you, as an AWS customer, want to use, right? But there are a couple of ways to do this too. The way that we're going to look at is probably the less sophisticated way of doing it, where you could publish this to something called the serverless app repo. That's one method to create the AWS layer in your own account. But you can also, that's the more sophisticated, I'd say. But you can also take that layer, make it public, and then take the ARN or Amazon resource name of that layer and just pull it direct from the ARN, since it will be public. But yeah, that's what we're going to look at. Should we get into the code? What do you think?
Yes, we should. If you love your layer, you have to set it free.
If you're lucky, it comes back to you then. Right?
If it comes back, then it gets VC funded.
Okay. All right. So I've chosen to create a Node.js layer, right? Much to Richard's disdain, I'm using
and mine
and yours. What would you prefer me to use?
Python.
Python.
Always.
Wow. Okay. All right.
You're playing with numbers, man.
Yeah, this probably would have been. This is my homemade kombucha, by the way. I showed this to you earlier before we started, but I wanted to show the audience too. I've been making my own kombucha because that's what I do with my life now. Anyway, homemade kombucha, hit me up if you want some flavors or have some ideas for flavors too. What's your idea for a flavor, Mo? What do you think?
Oh man, I'm up for something weird. The other day, one of our coworkers, Taz, made some of you know Taz. He's on the show often. He made olive oil ice cream from I think he stole the recipe from Salt and Straw. Blew my mind. So if you could do something like that, you take something weird and you make it into some nice kombucha.
Good booch. Yeah. Olive oil booch. Okay.
Olive oil booch.
All right, so let's get started here before I distract us even more. I'm working out of a folder here, and very much in the AM fashion, I've pre-canned all of this. Nikki Stone would be screaming at me right now. You're being much more diplomatic about this than Nikki is, Mo. I've got all the code already written. Everything's maybe working, you're not screaming at me about it.
Am I supposed to? I didn't get that memo.
Next time. Just commenting that it's a little different. It feels kind of nice.
When I was younger, I wanted to be a diplomat, so.
Okay. So I'm working out of my esoteric web services directory, and I've created a little separate service in here called the numerology. I've got two folders here. I've got the numerology layer and just the numerology blurb, right? That I'm going to package up. This is the actual code here that I'm going to package into a layer. I'm going to use a separate directory to package it into a layer. And I told you, we've got a special folder formatting that we're going to have to find. And actually, if I come in here, we can start. I had this pulled up too. Your Pythagorean numerology. If anybody is curious, you can Google this. I don't know what it means.
Oh, this is a thing.
Yeah,
this is
a
legit thing. This isn't just some construct that you just made. Okay. I saw Pythagorean. I saw Pythagorean. And I was like, okay, I know about Pythagorean theorem, but I didn't know someone made numerology based on the homie Pythagoras' theorem.
Yeah, he did.
The homie Pythagoras' theorem. They just call it the homie Pythagoras. Is this like Bible codes? Richard Boyd.
It is, yeah. It's like the number of the beast, 666 type thing. Yeah. It's like how people, I don't think the Pythagoras numerology is actually the one that calculated 666, the number of the beast. I'm probably never going to be asked back on Twitch now that I dropped 666 in it. I'm talking about the Iron Maiden song, 666, the number of the beast, by the way. That's how I'll get myself out of this mess right here.
Nice.
It's an Iron Maiden song. It's anyway, moving on. It's not like some satanic agenda that I'm pushing.
No, but okay, there's Pythagorean numerology. Is there like a Fibonacci numerology? Like, does it
man, there's like a whole Wikipedia article. This is where I found this yesterday, and I was like, I'm gonna build this. You just take like these letters and you assign them to this number, and then you take somebody's name and you start calculating it. This is what I did like in code, but it does it with all messages, right? Like not just names. What's going on in that chat, Mo? I see you smiling.
He said, when people pull the seventh letter from each page and rearrange the letters to convince people to drink poison when a comet flies over, it's like a terrible NPR puzzler.
Okay. All right, Richard Boyd, you're my hero as always. So I mentioned
this is like car talk, but not.
It kind of is, yeah. I mentioned that there's a specific format, right? There's a specific format needed for how you create a layer, right? And we're going to see this when I create my Node.js one, but it has to be like this. It's got to be Node.js with a subfolder called Node Modules. And that's what gets loaded into that OPT folder. And that's what gets added to your Node.js execution environment, right? To the path that it pulls and says, like, where do I find libraries from? This gets appended to that path. It's different for Python, different for Ruby, different for Java. And this is all here. All I had to do was Google, like I'll show you literally what I Googled. I Googled AWS Lambda Layers docs, and then I just clicked on the first one, and there's including library dependencies. So if you want to go find this again, that's how you do it. Any questions from chat other than Richard Boyd? We can ignore Richard if he's asking questions. Just kidding. I'd never ignore you, Richard, ever.
Richard is leaving. He has to participate in this meeting and stop laughing.
It's too bad. It's too bad that he chose to like further his career instead of hang out with us. Anyway, cool. Like getting back to this, right? We've got a library here that I built. And if you're unfamiliar with Node.js, building a library is pretty straightforward. All you do is you have to have a package.json, right? You give it a name. This name is like how you actually reference it in your package system as well. You'll see this a lot where they have the organization instead, where
we're good. We're good.
That was you. I was like, did somebody just join? I thought we were about to get that we were gonna get bombed by Taz or somebody, chime bombed, I guess.
No, we're good.
Okay. So you get an organization name with an @ symbol in some of these Node.js packages. And then this is the actual library, right? So if I were to publish multiple libraries from the new EWS company, I could just publish them all under this one banner, right? All that changes.
EWS /
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All that this changes is how I pull this into code, right? So when I use a require statement, right? And I can actually, go ahead and require this library in a local package. All I've done here is like if I were to go into this test app again, I'll just show you how that works. If I do npm install -save is what all of those commands mean. And you can actually import local libraries using relative file paths, which is kind of interesting about Node.js. You can do the same thing in Python, I believe, too. Anyway, so all that does is add it adds this here. And then if I wanted to just show you what this looks like. All I'm doing in here is running a console log statement, and it calculates my Pythagorean number for my name, because that's what the log statement was. I could change this. Uh-oh.
It's me. Uh-oh.
Your number. Oh, you're 9. You're one better than me.
Oh, I'm 9. Oh.
One better than me. I mean.
Or I could be 1 over par, man. I could be one too many.
What is this, like a golf thing?
It might be.
Is that a sports? Is that what that is?
I'm not sure how numerology works. I don't know. Yeah, that was a golf. That was a golf reference, but apologies there.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Sorry, man. I
don't know anything about golf though.
I don't either. I'm kind of confused why you used a golf analogy.
It's the only sport I can think of where points are bad. Like you want the close. Okay. The lower you are, the better. So.
Okay. I see. So like all of my logic for this, right? All of my logic, and it's not really important what's happening inside the library. It all lives in this package, this EWS numerology package, right? That I defined out in this package.json. It does all the calculation. I won't bore you with how it does it. The one thing that is kind of interesting that you can do, specifically in JavaScript, is I can take the console.log method, because it's just a function, right? Just a function. I can actually overwrite that. So let's say that's exactly what's happening in the other thing. This maybe not necessarily best practice in JavaScript, but let's say I needed to, like every time that you wanted to log something, I wanted to have, I want to send that message out to a monitoring solution, for example. I can overload this method to take the message, do something with it, which is what I'm doing here on line 44, right? I'm actually just running my Pythagorean number system here, but you could easily take the message, send it to an API that your company owns for your monitoring tool, and then I've wrapped the original console log function into this variable here, not wrapped it, I've captured it in this variable rather, and I just wrapped the original message in that there, and you are none the wiser that any of that has happened. You don't have to do anything special. You have not had to change your logging system whatsoever. You just use logging, and it's opaque to you. Does that make sense?
I'm following.
Okay.
Is the chat following? The chat's following.
Yeah? Everybody's there?
I guess. I mean, where is everyone? We need some more movements in the chat.
Yeah.
No one said anything since Richard left. Y'all gotta show us more love.
Richard was the loudest there for a while. Maybe we need a new Richard.
Richard was showing us all the love. Now I don't feel loved anymore.
I got something down here that's going to be interesting, Mo. I got something down here in line 489. We're not going to talk about it yet, but this is kind of interesting. Okay, I'm going to show you how to bundle up the layer. Uh-oh, you getting some love in the chat? You got some love. You did?
Quick like turtle. Thank you. They said we're doing a wonderful job.
Okay, cool. That's my mom's Twitch name. It's actually, no, I'm just kidding. That's not my mom. My mom usually does watch the show sometimes. So.
Hey, shout out AM's mom. You gave him 3 first names. That's love.
Or
Michael
abuse.
Steven.
I don't know which.
Quick like turtle said, "I am your mother." Or, I'm your mother! Exclamation mark. Okay.
It sounds threatening.
Cool.
But it's okay. It sounds threatening. Anyway. So we're going to talk about
line 49. Line 49 to the bottom.
We're going to talk about this in a bit. Okay, because there's 2 ways that I'm going to tell you how to package your layer, and then how your customers as a partner, for example, or your customers or whoever, your consumers of your layer can then use your layer without having to change their code. Or maybe we have like a simple change to their code. I'll show you both options. We've got one option where they don't have to make any code changes, which is going to refer to line 49. We're going to have another option where maybe they have to change a line, okay? And that's what we're going to look at first. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I've set up this other project here, this numerology layer. If I CD into there, the layer this is just a place to keep my template. And this is a SAM template. What's SAM, Mo?
Serverless application model? That's model, right? Not module? Yeah. I always want to say module, but it's model. SAM is a framework for serverless applications. It does cool stuff. Most recently, they released SAM X, what was it, API Gateway, which was cool. No, step functions. I lied. SAM X step functions, which is cool. But anyway, SAM helps you build, package, deploy your serverless applications. It takes care of frustrating stuff like sometimes like it just makes it's an opinionated way of deploying serverless applications, and the opinions that it has are pretty useful sometimes.
Yeah, and really that's great. I mean, they also just GA, right? They just went live with version 1.
Yeah. They literally just went live. What was it? It wasn't yesterday. It was like a few days ago, right? But still.
Might have been yesterday, actually.
Was it yesterday?
I don't know.
I don't know what time is like anymore. I do know that Eric Johnson posted a blog yesterday. I saw a blog.
Time is a construct.
I'm assuming.
No. Time's not real.
Time is a construct? Okay.
It's a human construct. Okay. It doesn't exist for anyone but us.
That's true. That's true.
And now you see why I'm the one of the co-founders of Esoteric Web Services, right?
Yeah. Do you have a time esoteric web service?
Not yet, but it sounds like here at EWS we take in customer feedback as how we build our next service. So it's really important to me that if you think time should be in the next service, I'll take that into consideration.
All right. Time web service. Y'all heard it here first.
Anyway.
They might confuse that with AWS. This is not an AWS service. This is EWS service, y'all.
Yeah.
We're just on the AWS channel.
Yeah. And it's just, the EWS is just a joke. Full clarity.
Kind of.
Oh,
kind of.
Somebody's getting into it. Okay.
Well, that's a change of name, though, but...
Yeah, fair enough. Ooze.
Yeah.
But ooze, like that's kind of paranormal too, right? Like ghostbustery, ectoplasm, ooze. I don't know. Could be a thing. Anyway, what specific part of SAM are we looking at here, Mo? SAM is multifaceted, right? There's lots of parts to SAM.
There's the SAM CLI. There's what are the other parts of SAM? I mean, this is a SAM template.
Yes.
I assume that's the name of the construct. Yeah, this is a template, right? A SAM template, for those of you who don't know, it's like a CloudFormation template, but again, it's SAM's version of that. So it's a bit more opinionated, and it takes care of some of the frustrating stuff, or at least like I call it frustrating stuff. It's probably frustrating to everybody. It's the stuff that. Yeah. The IAM, for example, in this case, what are you doing? You're using the SAM in your SAM template. You got a layer. You got layer and the layer permissions. Some cool stuff there. This probably would take like double the amount of lines in CloudFormation. So
I don't even know because I've never even looked at it in regular CloudFormation. To be honest with you.
And I wouldn't want to.
No, but this is kind of one of the key pieces of the SAM template too, is this transform, right? Because once I upload this to the CloudFormation engine, CloudFormation engine recognizes this transform and then expands a lot of these ones that you see type AWS serverless into what CloudFormation recognizes naturally. So kind of cool system under the hood. But this is how I'm publishing my layer. There's multiple ways to publish a layer. I've actually seen a lot of partners do it with the AWS CLI, because typically a best practice, if you're trying to publish a layer to be used by lots of consumers, you want to publish a layer in each region. Region is part of the ARN, so that you can utilize layers across regions. Anyway, so the first step when I build a layer, right? I've made a little tiny bash script for it. I'm removing the zip file that gets created, right? I'm removing this folder right here, because my bash script is going to come in and recreate it with npm I. It's going to install this package that I've been working on, right, under this folder. It uses this prefix folder, because remember, when we looked at the docs, I have to have this as part of my package for creating a layer, right, specifically for Node.js. Then I zip up that folder, right, and then I'm going to upload it to a bucket using another facet of AWS SAM, which is the AWS SAM CLI, right? So these are the commands that you have. SAM package, SAM deploy. That's it. And that publishes it. So I could come in and make changes to my layer, do whatever I need to do. Shall we publish?
We shall publish.
Yeah? Yeah, just do build.sh, and it's going to run through. So there, it deleted the layer, recreated it. It's adding all those things. One thing I didn't mention, and while this builds, I actually have a dependency inside of my library too. I'm not actually using it. I just wanted to show that you can have other NPM packages as a dependency in this library when you package it as a layer. So this goes and pulls Lodash, which is a popular, Node.js library.
We got a question. We got a question from Quick Like Turtle. Does your npm install need to target Linux since it'll run on Lambda?
Oh, that is an interesting question that I don't know if I have the full answer for. I also don't know if I'm frozen there. Am I back? I think I'm back.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're good.
Okay, cool. I actually think SAM will do that for you with SAM build automatically. But I think there are languages like .NET where you will have to target a runtime environment. I think Node.js doesn't have that issue. If you have specific Node packages that do have operating system level requirements, you would probably need to build in a Docker container or something like that, which AWS SAM has a step in it or a CLI command called SAM build that should take care of that for you, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong about that. But no, you shouldn't have to necessarily, I think, for Python or Node or these scripting type languages. Typically, again, you have very OS specific things happening, or like if one of your Node.js packages is reliant upon something that you have to compile on, like using GCC or something, then maybe you'd have to do it with Linux. Does that answer the question? Maybe somewhat.
It does. It does. Quick Like Turtle is happy with your answer.
Okay. Yeah, I think .NET probably you would need to target Linux, but that's like a flag in the .NET CLI tool that you can use too.
I'm biting my tongue.
.NET.
Nope.
C#.
Stop it.
Anyway, look, we bought enough time for this to go and update. It actually updated and created a new layer because the stack already exists. Like I said, I am not brave like my friend Nikki Klein, Nikki Stone now, sorry, who does everything on the fly. I have pre-baked a lot of this, just because I am a Ravenclaw and I'm not a Gryffindor like she is.
Or me.
What house are you in, Mo? Do you know?
I'm probably a mix of two houses. Actually, I've been cautioned not to say that.
Ooh, is that like a bad thing? People get mad at you?
There was some Twitter thread about how, like, only the lame millennials are the ones that mix the two houses together. You gotta love Gen Z. All right, back to the console.
I have nothing but utmost respect for Gen Z. Please don't lump me in with your attacks on Gen Z, Mo. I love Gen Z.
I think I'm technically Gen Z.
I know. I think you are technically.
I'm glad to be Gen Z. I'm glad to be a part of whatever community I'm a part of.
I want to remain relevant, please.
The Vans hat.
The Vans hat, yeah.
That's what does it for you. Yeah.
So this actually translates to a stack, in CloudFormation.
Can you show us the template? Show us the template tab.
Yeah, it expands out. Oh, it actually did.
Now show that processed version. So view process template.
Yeah.
Boom. Wait, is it still yeah, actually. That's kind of
not the best. Not the best example.
Next time we'll show like SAM step functions.
Yeah.
Like the crazy ones. Yeah.
Look, I'll just make one from scratch, right? One thing that I didn't mention in this also in this template, I'm actually defining out the compatible runtimes, right? So if I were to build at this point a node function that needed, node version 10, I would not be able to use this layer. Just as a heads up, you can add more in here. It's a list, so you can get as many runtimes as are supported by your layer. Just gonna make one named after you, Mo.
I've always wanted a function named after me.
And I'm gonna do
the first step.
I'm gonna do the thing that everyone loves. Everyone who is a serverless expert loves to do. And that's work directly in the Cloud9 integration that sits inside the Lambda console.
Oh, yeah.
So, the first thing I'm going to do is install my layer, okay? So I can actually come in, add a layer. Right now, since I am in the account that created this layer, it will show up in the custom layers. But I'll also say and show you how we will specify an ARN in a different account, right? Now that I've published it and it's public, I can actually just take the layer ARN and put it in there too. But since I am in the same, go ahead.
So you made it public by publishing to SAR? How did you make it public?
I didn't publish to SAR. That's something that you can do.
Okay.
I actually just set the layer permission here. And I set the principal to everyone, and I said get layer version, right? So that's how I made it public, essentially. But if I wanted to add a little bit more discoverability, I could add it as a serverless app repo too, or a serverless application in the serverless app repo. I believe. Yeah. I could be totally wrong about that too. I'm not quite certain, but I think you can do that, and I read that in the docs yesterday. I haven't actually done or tried that myself. So I shouldn't just unequivocally say that works.
Okay.
But I can add my
qualifying.
Layer. I qualify.
Thank you for qualifying your theoretical knowledge with the experimental knowledge. Yep.
So I've got function code here, right?
Ooh.
And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the first method. So if I were able to make some code changes, right? Maybe I could just come in here and do @EWS/. numerology. And I'm just importing the library. So maybe it's okay for me to come in and change things about my actual function code. This is one way. I'm going to add some console log statements here. We should get the same number that we got locally too. But if you notice, like this is a brand new function. I haven't uploaded anything here, right? There are no packages, no dependencies that I've packaged with this code. All right. I know we're running short on time here. This always happens, doesn't it? I always say, oh, this would be like 30 minutes. And then I start talking about other stuff, do silly things.
Partially
Let's test it. Let's test it. Let's see if this actually works.
Dun dun.
Oh, look.
Whoa. And it's 9.
There you go.
Nice.
So if I remove this now, though, let's say I remove the import. Guess what?
Would it still work?
That layer is still there. It's still in that opt folder, right? But, uh-oh, we lost our Pythagoras number. It's gone.
Whoa.
Because that script never gets executed, right? It never gets run.
Right.
So it never takes over the console log function. It never loads any of the code there. It's just sitting in there in that opt folder, right? So let me show you something real quick that I've added to this layer. It's something you can do if you wanted this to be run automatically. It's a little bit more setup, and you would have to ask your users to do this. Or like I said, you could build a tool like an installer, for example, from command line or something when they're packaging their Lambda. We're going to do something a little tricky here, okay? So I added a handler in here, right? Do you recognize this pattern, Mo?
I do.
What is this?
Looks like any Lambda handler.
Yeah. So this could be any Lambda handler, essentially. I've got a few lines here that I'll explain. Line 51 here is loading in some environment variables, okay? This one is one that we're going to ask our users to set, this user handler environment variable. I'm then coming in and splitting that because it's usually going to be something like index.handler. Like if I go back to, so the name of my file here is index. The exports function that I put for my Lambda is handler. If I go down to my configuration, I've got that set as index.handler. That's the handler that I wrote that I want to be run, right? So that's why I called it user handler. Now, I've got like very minimal, there's a lot more function handling code that you would need here to make sure that you could actually load this. But what I'm doing is I'm taking that value that I'm going to ask my consumer of my library to add onto their Lambda function. And I'm actually just pulling that handler in and I'm running it from this handler, right? So I'm taking the exact same event and context, and then I'm doing what I need to do, right, when that Lambda is invoked. Maybe I need to process more things on the event. Maybe I need to process things on the contents. Maybe I need to send those to API endpoints for the monitoring tool that I've built, right? This is how some of our partners actually have built their Lambda layers that are meant for orchestration and monitoring of your Lambda environments. After I've done everything that I need to do from lines 50 to 60, I call their function, right? The handler function that they wrote initially that sits in the Lambda that they've created. All right. So how do I get this to run though, from a layers perspective? I told you there's two things that we're going to have to ask our consumers to change, or two things that we'll have to change on their behalf, right, with some sort of tool. The first is that environment variable. And do you remember what so in this Mo function, what is our handler? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. Is it?
it was just index.handler, remember? And this is like whatever you set whenever you're writing a Lambda function, right? So like if we go back to, I actually don't have a SAM. If I were to run a SAM init and just see, I could do that real quick, I guess. We've got 5 minutes. Do SAM init. It's going to ask me some questions. I'll do a quick start. I'll do node. Just call it SAM app. It's going to clone down. Probably kill my internet while it does. We'll just do a hello world example. Little SAM love you're getting here too, in addition to the
right
layers.
There, SAM app.
If I come in here and look at template, right?
Right.
Just for anybody who's never seen like or built a lot of Lambda functions, we've got this handler, right? And this changes based off what language you're using too, right? And how languages load modules and libraries and things like that. But our handler for this node application I just generated is app.lambda handler. And how we find that is we go into the hello world folder where our code lives. We've got a file named app. That's that first half. Then if I come in here, I've got Lambda handler, right? So maybe I don't want Lambda handler. Maybe I just want handler. I could change it in here and then change it in my template as well.
SAM template, right.
Cool. So that's where I got that value, right? And that's why I put user handler index.handler, because we've got an index file with .handler as the exported function.
Understood.
Make sense?
Makes sense to me.
How about the chat? Anybody in there? Or is everybody left?
No, I mean, no one's asked a question since Quick Like Turtle.
Okay. We love you, Quick Like Turtle. We love you.
Love you, Quick Like Turtle.
All right.
All right. You're changing the settings.
Yeah, I now need to alter what handler gets invoked. Remember, I wrote a handler in my package now. And I want my package, when it runs, like my function, I want it to actually invoke this handler, not
this
my
handler
handler
first.
I want it to invoke my Lambda layer handler first. Then it will, from that layer, it will run
it
my
will
handler.
Invoke your handler. Okay.
But there is a certain path that I'll need to include, and I hope I can remember what it is. But it's something like opt Node.js node modules. I'm doing this from memory, so I could very well get it wrong. Then the name of the package, right? Which our name for our package, it came out of this package.json. Remember?
Right.
Set it right there. So I should be able to put numerology. Okay, so that's the actual package. And then I need to set the handler, which we just named handler. And if I needed to figure that out, I could just come and look, and it's right there.
Boom.
We'll see if this actually works. I have no clue, because I've just been copying and pasting that like that.
Fingers crossed.
So I come back to my index. Now, this is assuming that I cannot make any code changes, and I just want to load the layer, right? I can't change anything about my function code whatsoever. I just need to load the layer and have it do its magic, and then treat my function normally, right? Like I said, I updated some of the configuration settings, but I did not have to update code whatsoever. So let's see if it actually does anything. Uh-oh. Look what's back.
Whoa.
I must have done it the right way.
Nice. Hey, Janice Q7 is here.
Hey! It's my dude. It's my dude.
Nice.
Cool. So
Cool.
yeah.
So
go ahead.
So is the layer part of the invoke, I guess, or is it part of the it's part of the invoke? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
You don't have two separate invokes there.
No,
Yeah.
it's loaded into the environment whenever the Lambda function is invoked or set up, or whatever happens behind the scenes. If it's a stale, reused environment, it's not reloaded or anything. It's just there. It's just
if the layer is
placing that
changed-
package into the file system on the Lambda environment. That's it.
Gotcha. So if the layer is changed, then behind the scenes, the Lambda service is probably setting up a new execution environment for the Lambda itself, the function.
I would assume, I actually don't know that specifically, but I would assume it's probably the same as when you load new function code, right? Where it creates.
Make any configuration change. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It has to reapply that, so it creates a new Lambda environment. That's my favorite thing about Lambda, actually, is that I don't have to care. Like, it's just going to do that for me, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Now, knowing some of those things when things go wrong are helpful. But for the most part, I just know that it's going to pull all these things in for me. And just to prove.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Quick like turtle. Quick like turtle. That's an interesting idea. I've never thought about setting the handler to be in the layer. I think actually it's pretty cool. On Monday, we had New Relic on the episode, and Nico was showing us how you could add New Relic to your existing Lambda functions without changing the function code at all, without doing any instrumentation whatsoever. Same concept, right? Similar concept.
Yeah. I think with a lot of companies like that, actually, they have tooling in place too to come set that environment variable typically for you, change the handler to the handler inside their layer. I don't know because to be honest, I haven't looked fully at the New Relic layer itself. I don't know if this is exactly what they're doing, but I would assume it's probably something
conceptually
similar, right? Or using some of the same ideas. Like I said, we also had that same option where we could pull in the library ourselves. If we could alter our function code, we could still pull in that library. And that's, say you're packaging up your your dependencies and libraries that way, and they're not like a specific layer that does something to your Lambda environment. That's typically how you would do it anyway. You would put in Lodash and say, my company only uses this specific version of Lodash. So when you pull Lodash, you pull it from the layer and not from NPM, for example. That might be something, I think there's probably some problems with enforcing that at a security layer or things like that. There's probably better solutions for that problem. But that's one of the things that layers could do. I just wanted to show there's no layers in this. This is me signed into a different account, and there's no layers in here, right? And I said you could come in here and put in a layer ARN if it's public, and install it this way too. That's what I'm going to do. Just real quick to show that I could use it from another account, actually. Here we go.
Yes.
I have to do the same thing, though. I'm going to put my name in now.
It should be 8.
It should be, yeah. But remember, I've got to set this up again, right?
You got to add the environment variable. Yep.
User
underscore handler.
Index.handler. And then my configuration value too.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, it's telling me unsaved changes. Let me save real quick. Living on the edge.
Save that. Nice. I'm always living on the edge.
Edit.
We'll keep the
opt Node.js node modules. And this changes
modules.
If you're not using Node.js. This path changes, by the way.
Numerology.handler. Cool.
And it'll make me set up a test event. Cool. And test. Hopefully it works. Whoa! There you go, man.
Whoa! And it's 8. Well, that's it. All right. Very cool.
All right. Well, I have to say, if you enjoyed content like this, you should hit us up on Twitter. Both of our Twitter names are up here. Tell us that you'd like to see more things like this, how to build integrations with services like a partner. I think we're thinking through some other content ideas that we could bring to you through Howdy Partner. So let us know.
Let us know what you want to see. I just did the weird like YouTube.
Click below to like and subscribe.
No.
Be sure to ring that notification bell.
Don't want to do that. I'm not about that life.
Sorry.
That's cool. So to wrap up, what's the call to action? Are we encouraging everyone who's watching to go play with Lambda Layers? Is that to go publish a Lambda layer that maybe I can use? That
would be great. I mean, that's one of the easiest things that you could do, right? You could go and build your own layer with your own logic.
Send me your layer ARNs. I wanna play around.
I gotta say you gotta be careful though, installing just whatever layer, because if it's not an open source project, for example, you can't necessarily see what the people are doing. So if it's coming from a company that you don't necessarily trust or know or anything like that, you may want to double check, do your due diligence, right?
I trust all the Howdy Partner viewers, man.
Do you?
No,
I'm technically a viewer. Do you trust me?
Unfortunately.
Okay. All right.
When did the script become? When did I start to antagonize you? Let's rewind. Of course, I trust you, AM. Of course.
That's true. We
the writers for this show. The writers for this show. Listen, writers, you're done.
They're fired. I love it.
We're just exposed. Yeah, everything here is written. Twitch is not even live.
All scripted, 100% scripted. We're not live right now. Anyway, be careful installing just random layers, by the way, if you don't know what it does, because it can it has access to your Lambda invocation environment. I think things like the New Relic layer, Absagon layer, these are things that you can trust from companies you can trust, and a great way to package up a product like that. That's where I think my call to action is go install a layer from a partner company, and see how that works. Maybe go investigate if they've got some Git repos out there that you can look at and see how they're doing things. There
are plenty of examples. There are partners we've had on Howdy Partner that have some layers that you can play with.
I think that's
shout out to Quick Like Turtle. I appreciate the Twitter follow, by the way.
Nice.
Like me, he has the same Twitch handle on Twitter as well.
Nice.
So nice.
Okay. And like we said, if you want to learn more about building things like a partner builds things, hit us up. Let us know. We can do more episodes like this. And other than that, I think I'm probably going to go celebrate.
Who do we got?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. Who do we have next?
Who do we got next week? Yeah, Monday. NLX, Docker.
Not NLX.
I'm exposing us.
Yeah.
It might be Docker.
It is Docker, actually. It is.
You're sharing your screen. Oh, you're not sharing your screen. I lied. No, I lied. I'm watching your screen.
You scared me.
I scared myself. All right, let's see.
You're getting a real peek behind the scenes today. A little easy fit kind of episode of Howdy Partner, right?
All right.
Pull up the calendar.
For shows. Okay.
That's not next
okay.
week.
That's weird. The view is down there now.
Docker.
July 27th. Docker. Compliance is watching. Right.
July 27th, we've got Docker. Yeah. So be
Docker
sure
back
to join in
next week.
Docker.
for Docker. And yeah, I love you all. AM loves you all.
I do.
Y'all come back now. You hear?
Giddy up.
Giddy up. That's the third one.
That's the third
That's
one.
the one
Happy
we kept
trails.
forgetting.
Happy trails. Giddy up.
Happy trails. Giddy up. Y'all come back now. And take us offline, AM.
Send me ideas for kombucha flavors because I got one. It'll be ready to go like 5 days. It's brewing on my counter.
Do you know how the NPR wine that like NPR has like a wine club and they do like wait don't tell me wine. We should do Howdy Partner Kombucha.
You know I'm all about that.
Let us know. Let us know if you would like some Howdy Partner Kombucha. Tweet at AM. Yeah.
All right, we'll see you next time on Monday for Docker. Actually,
Take care, y'all.
Be back. Y'all come back now, you hear?